I am the RPA Skin Fairy.
And I am Windskin. And welcome to our slumber party with Ava and Taylor.
Today we're going to be teaching you how to properly apply sunscreen. And so we each use 2 different kinds. So we have 4 different kinds that we're going to show you how to use today.
So I have the Sun Better Tone Smart by Skin Better Science. And then I also have the Zio Smart Tone Broad Spectrum SPF 50.
And then I have the SPF with Primer by Zio Skin Health. And then I also have the Tinted Compact, the Tone Smart, from Skin Better Science.
So I guess on this side of my face with all my pimple patches will be my Sun Better side. Quick note, when you are wearing pimple patches, you actually do want to apply them before you put on sunscreen, just because it won't stick if you put them on.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I struggled with it for a long time.
Yeah.
Just trying to make sure it would stick and just being sad.
So on my left side, I'm going to do the Sunscreen and Primer from Zio Skin Health. I really like this one. It's matte. I don't like it every day, but I do like it on days where I want to do a full coverage makeup look after, because it's good as a makeup primer.
Yeah. And both of the sunscreens I chose are tinted. So when you're higher Patrick or higher dark and deeper skin tone, you definitely want to make sure you pick more tinted sunscreens just to get that added light protection. But with the Sun Better, I'm going to warm it up in my fingers. This is really important because otherwise it's going to go on terribly ashy and you're going to be really mad at me for even suggesting it. I'm going to pat. I actually only needed half a pump since I'm only doing half my face, so I'm feeling real wasteful.
And so the SPF with Primer just has a really silky kind of almost like silicone finish that a lot of makeup primers have.
Alright, and then with this, you want to kind of pat it on, make sure you get around all the areas you're going to cover, and smooth it downward. This is so the minerals can kind of have a nice even layer and actually protect you. You don't really want to rub it in, and you don't want to mix it with anything, because that is going to really destroy the efficacy of the sunscreen.
And so something that you might have noticed that I did was I really made sure to also get my ears. People forget to do their ears a lot. I typically like a powder sunscreen for the ears and then also the part. If you have really light hair like I do, you can get sunburn in your part.
Ava really put me onto this because I did not know that my scalp did not need to be sunburned. I'm so against putting sunscreen on my scalp because my hair will get oily and gross. But that makes so much sense.
Yeah, the powder's amazing.
Yeah, powder is really good for if you hate the oily finish of your sunscreen, it's a little too much sheen. But it should not be used alone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Great.
It's more of an in tandem thing. So the next sunscreen I'm going to use is the Smart Tone Zio one. It also has a tint. I'm going to use a pump. So with the amount of sunscreen you want to use at least 1/4 teaspoon. This is really important because otherwise it won't work.
So I'm going to use the Tone Smart Compact from Skin Better Science. And so this one actually comes with a little sponge and it comes with a mirror. So it's super easy for applying on the go. It's good to keep in your purse. Good to apply over makeup. So if you're reapplying because you should every 2 hours that you're in the sun, this is a really good one to have.
Yeah, that one's really convenient, especially because on my nose I sweat it off like crazy.
And the sponge is actually antimicrobial too, so it's good also for people that have acne.
Oh, I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. Okay, maybe I'll use the sponge. I've been using a beauty blender.
Beauty blenders are also great. I feel like they give a little more full coverage, but I like this one as well, surprisingly.
So I had said this before, but you really do not want to over rub in your sunscreen because it's going to come off on your hands and be rendered useless. It won't make that nice smooth layer that you really want it to make. In addition to that, if you have more textured skin, you're going to want to use a little bit more sunscreen, just a half a pump more, just because all the highs and lows of your face, it's not going to cover it all with just one pump of sunscreen. So typically, 1/4 of a teaspoon, and then even for your body, you want to use 1 teaspoon on your body. Just each body part needs 1, because it's a lot of surface area to cover.
Yeah. Also, pro tip, if you have cosmetic tattoos, please do not forget to put sunscreen on them.
Oh, I'm new to that.
You know, your artist worked so hard to actually give you eyebrows. Please protect them so they last longer.
Don't at me.
We both just got our brows done pretty recently by Atelier. They did an amazing job.
I love them so much. I love waking up and not having to do anything to my face.
Yeah.
Like, okay, sunscreen. But like, I don't have to put on my eyebrows, which I painstakingly would do every single day because I'm a maniac who has no eyebrows.
Yeah, it's amazing. So I hear a lot that people are like, I don't need an SPF, it's in my foundation or it's in my concealer or something like that. You don't apply enough foundation for that SPF to be as effective as like an actual SPF.
You have to apply so much so you would look insane. There's that one girl on TikTok who applies like way too much foundation.
Her.
Yes. She does it. She has enough.
The foundation.
Yeah, is that her name actually?
It's not, but it should be.
Probably.
But yeah, so I feel like if you're someone that's kind of your vibe, you want a foundation with SPF in it, then I feel like doing like the Tone Smart or Smart Tone or a tinted SPF is really, just as good.
And you also don't want to mix them to make it more like pleasant to put on. That doesn't work that way, unfortunately. It really will just create holes in your protection and cause it to basically be ineffective. And then, so a lot of people ask, why should I wear sunscreen? The sun does not like you. It does not like me. It does not like Ava. It does not like anyone. It is going to try and kill you. Please understand. Do you think you're stronger than the sun?
Do you?
Do you really think you're stronger than the sun? Answer me.
No? Okay.
The sun is literally yelling into space all the time at nothing. Do you think it's going to lend you any grace? No. Please wear sunscreen.
Yes.
There's actually a really good study that I found earlier today that found that skin texture, clarity, and pigmentation are like just way more improved when wearing sunscreen. The inflammation you get from the sun is really, really like detrimental to like the effectiveness of all your skincare, like all of it. It's really bad if you don't.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're getting treatments done with us, like hydrofacials, BBL, if you're doing Botox and filler, like protect that investment. And that starts with sunscreen. I mean, that is the best way to make all of these treatments just look that much better.
And prevention is much easier, much more affordable than you getting like 8 billion BBLs that you will need to correct it. Our jobs are also much easier when you wear sunscreen because then we don't have to yell at you.
Yes. I don't want to yell at you.
I know, I want to be a good SD. I want to be nice SD. We should do bad cop SDs.
Bad cop, good cop.
No, just bad cop, bad cop. But also, if you use any exfoliants, you really do want to use SPF because it's going to just ruin it. It's not going to work anymore. It's also going to make you super photosensitive, especially if you're using a glycolic or a retinol.
So as far as sunscreen type goes, we have a lot of different options. We have 4 up here, but we actually have 8 that we sell, I believe. And so there's a couple of different ways you can go. My boyfriend really likes the sheer stick. I also think the sheer stick works really well over tattoos. So I have one of those in my car. It's sheer enough to where you can still see the artwork, but it's coverage, so it's keeping your tattoos from looking really awful later down the road. Exactly. And then SPF with primer, great for people that love makeup. I think that the compact is really great on the go. People that like a more full coverage look. And then
I will say with the one with primer, this is like the only one I'll ever recommend putting under your makeup.
Yeah.
Otherwise, when you do face makeup, you do want to put it on top. It's probably the best, but depending on what kind of makeup you're putting on, if you're putting on powder, that can go on top. But it's so hard to like really, it really depends on the texture of your foundation and all of that. Like if you find that it's like falling up or anything like that, it's either interacting with your skincare, drying too fast, or you are rubbing it far too much. True. So either try it on bare skin, apply it on really, really moisturized skin, or pat it on gently. Like, you do not need to rub it. I'm going to say
Yeah.
that 8 billion times, but you do not need to rub it that much. It's going to just blur it out, and you're gonna have holes in your coverage.
Thank you for coming to our
Slumber party!
Hopefully you learned a little something about skincare and SPF. And like and subscribe.
Please.
And sweet dreams.